On the evening of October 26th, Jazwares' Aaron Margolin recorded with Adventures in Collecting. He was never heard from again. This is that recording.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting, our Halloween special, Dave.
Yeah, we are. Comic-Con is over. We survived.
We did survive.
Yeah,
That was a lot. I hope
a lot
everyone
happened.
enjoyed the Comic-Con
Action-packed.
coverage. 16 videos in 3 days, Dave.
It gets busier every year, and
Yeah.
that's great because New York needed to be like cool.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody that tuned in for that, by the way. Super appreciated. Wouldn't be the same if you guys weren't watching. So
Yeah,
we really appreciate everybody that tuned in, and for we got a lot of new friends over Comic-Con weekend. So
yeah.
if you are watching and or listening to us for the first time because you jumped on at New York Comic-Con, welcome. That you
Or you met us for the first time.
you picked an amazing episode to start watching for your first episode. Our Halloween special is always something that's very special to us.
Yeah,
Something that we look forward to doing every year. Yeah.
We do love Halloween.
So we do, of course, have a special guest for Halloween this year. He is a returning guest. We'll bring him on in just a moment. But as it is still October, spooky season, we have our monthly giveaways are still live, and that's right, I said giveaways. We do have 2 this month.
It's treat or treat.
It is treat or treat indeed. So you still have time to enter to win both of these giveaways. So this first one here is from our
I like
friends.
that we have the Rocky Horror font.
Yeah. It's a spooky font. But it's totally the Rocky Horror font.
Yeah. I'm excited.
So our first one,
the revival's coming up soon.
that tickets go on sale
Broadway.
this week. Week. So this is from our friends at Carve the Five. This is a friend of the pod, Kyle Wadiga and Brian Liu. This is their little side hustle, Carve the Five. So 3 3/4 inch Night Demon axe wielding Eugene, perfect for the spooky season. Perfect spooky season giveaway. So that's our first one, and then our second one is a double feature from Retro Realms. This is the Halloween and Ash versus the Evil Dead double feature for the Nintendo Switch, and we have partnered with our friends, locally operated, friend-owned video game store. So Electric Town LLC here in New Jersey. We partnered up with them to give away this copy of Halloween and Ash versus the Evil Dead, and it's awesome. I cannot beat the Ash versus the Evil Dead half of this.
I forget the name of the developer, but they're doing the. I think I said this before. The
Retro Realms.
They're doing the Hellraiser one too.
Yeah.
That's coming out.
Yeah, I beat the Halloween one. It was difficult. The Ash versus the Evil Dead is punishingly difficult, and it's got that very old school side scroller beat 'em up, I guess you would say. No, not beat 'em up. That's the wrong.
It's like a
genre.
platformer more.
Yeah, side scroller platformer. Think like Ghouls and Ghosts sort of game. But you get to wield a chainsaw and a shotgun with Ash Williams, so it's pretty groovy, one would say. Really, really cool. Lots of fun. So, go and follow us at AIC_podcast, where you can enter to win these. Look for the pinned posts. Catch up on all the New York Comic-Con goodies, and and win
Keep
yourself.
an eye out for all of our Halloween fun that we're going to be having individually.
Yep.
I'll be in LA as you hear this.
And I actually I hinted at this in our stories, but keep your eyes peeled for for those who have been with us for a long time know that a few years ago and for a few years in a row, I did the 31 days of Halloween toy photography. As time has gone on, that has become quite the undertaking. So I took last year off. And this year I am doing something a little different, but there will be a photo series, a toy photography series leading up to Halloween that should have
Okay.
started already by the time you're hearing this. So, just keep an eye out for that. I have something pretty cool planned. So,
Albeit, how did this get? I'm sure How Did This Get Made and John Carpenter were great, and I'm getting
yes.
ready to go to and HHN. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, Dave.
yes, one of the houses that I inevitably saw on Saturday.
So you're coming to us live from Hurricane, Utah.
Yeah, on the way into Los Angeles, I stopped for pizza.
Needed a slice.
But it's not open.
A slice in a show. Just don't take any late night security jobs while you're there. It's
it's a layover at the Hurricane Airport.
So if you read the description of this show and the title, you know what you're about to get into here. So we are super excited to welcome back our friend, longtime friend. Last time we had him on, we celebrated, I think it was the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, or the 20th anniversary. It was a Pokemon anniversary.
It was.
So from Pokemon now to Five Nights at Freddy's, a franchise with over 10 years of lore and really engaged fandom. Jazwares, back at Toy Fair, announced that they would be producing collectibles and toys for Five Nights at Freddy's. So we are so excited to bring back on our friend, senior global brand manager at Jazwares, Aaron Margolin.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome back to the show, buddy.
Yeah, welcome
back.
back.
What's up, guys? Hey. Oh my goodness. It is such a pleasure to see you guys. Eric, Dave, Dave, I know that you're calling in from a remote location way out in Utah. We're kind of all around the US right now calling in, I guess. But thank you so much for having me on. Always a pleasure. It's been a long time. Eric, I think you're right. It has been since 2021, I believe. So it's been about 4 years since I've last jaunted on over to the Adventures in Collecting podcast. But man, oh man, does it feel good to be back.
Brief video appearance at Toy Fair, I believe, but that was
like a wave.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, before we hop into everything, congratulations are in order. Aaron, you're entering the world of being a married man. Congratulations with your engagement. Long time coming. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Your reveal, everything was so just bravo.
Wow. Thank you.
Bravo.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. It's I talk about my career a lot, but my real passion is loving my fiance and then my career.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, welcome to Team Engaged. We're happy to have you aboard.
Thank you.
So before we actually hop into the offering, because there's two things. There's a lot to talk about, and we have a lot of questions from the community to answer.
I'm actually super stoked on that.
That's great.
Yeah, there is a ton of questions. And I will apologize in advance. There were so many questions, we just can't get to them all. But I did my best to look at ones that were either super unique or ones that people asked multiples of. And I kind of just cut out the questions that were like, when is this character getting made? When is this character getting made? Because
I have an answer, by the way. I have an answer for those. I can blanket answer that one really quick. If you're asking when is this character going to be made, when is this character going to be made? By and large, the answer is, and it's not true for everything, but stay tuned. That is oftentimes what I like telling people. Just stay tuned because we have lots planned. So we can get that one out of the way.
There you go. But before we hop into everything, I just want to tell everyone, make sure that you stick around to the end. So we usually don't do this like teaser thing in the beginning, but Aaron has promised us that we have some cool reveal at the end. So just stay tuned. Make sure you stick around.
Oh yeah.
So before we hop into everything, tell us a little bit about your kind of like connection with Five Nights at Freddy's. Like what does the brand kind of mean to you? How does it work with your personal experience?
So so what's so interesting is I've told the story a few times. I'll give a little bit more nuance in this telling, because I think a lot of people know that like my experience in toys started mostly with Pokemon and then Halo. Pokemon and Halo are games that I grew up playing, right? I'm 30 years old, so I learned how to read using Pokemon effectively, because I was like, I can't play Pokemon unless I know what I'm reading. And then Halo, I grew up like I was like the perfect amount of time to be playing like in my friends' basements multiplayer. But I was in college, right around in college when the first Five Nights at Freddy's game came out. And so it wasn't one of those things where it's like I grew up playing Five Nights at Freddy's. But what I can say is that when Five Nights 1 came out, that was I was one of the first adopters to Five Nights fandom. So when Five Nights came out, I was just about in college. And historically, I would say I'm not a big fan of horror in general. Before that time period of my life, horror was not really like a big thing. I like thrilling stuff, but like I think when I was a kid, I had a really wild imagination. So like the one quick story I'll say is like when I was like 8 years old, a kid at a summer camp told me the synopsis, and it was like wrong. Now I've seen the movie, a synopsis of Friday the 13th, and then immediately blended it with Nightmare on Elm Street. So that was like a weird double feature in my head. That was one movie, and I couldn't sleep. I literally couldn't, because I'm like, yeah, this sucks, because then he started appearing in people's dreams halfway through the movie, like telling my dad why I couldn't sleep. But I hated horror as a kid. I didn't like it as a teenager. But then when I was in college, I think I started warming up to it a little bit more. I went to school for film writing. And the lovely thing that a lot of like screenplay writers will say is that like horror is actually the most fun genre to write, because you can really let your imagination go wild. And it's one of the last bastions genre wise that you can do something like really experimental and fresh, and it doesn't cost you like $200 million. A la Evil Dead, right? Great example. So I was at that perfect time where horror was starting to kind of come into my life as like creatively, this is kind of really fun. And I can watch a horror movie and then it doesn't become real in my head. I still get freaked out by like Alien because it's palpable, but I think I was at the right time when Five Nights 1 came out. I really was like, hey, this is interesting, because I think it's one of those lovely instances of, hey, the animatronics at these restaurants, these themed restaurants growing up, not just Chuck E. Cheese, but Rock of Fire Explosion, stuff like that. Pretty creepy, right? It's like, yeah, they are creepy. What if they tried to kill you, right? So it's one of those like, it's the Jackson Pollock situation where it's like, anyone could have come up with that. Yeah, but you know what? Scott Cawthon did. And so when it came out, I think genuinely, I think it's like Markiplier, the Let's Player, when he started playing it, and then the game theory started coming out. That's when I started like really like looking at it as like, oh, what is this? Is this something that like is an interesting new video game? Lo and behold, very interesting new video game. And then from there, it is the mystery. It is the lore, the prestige lore from Five Nights 1 all the way to Five Nights 4, that original year and some change run of games getting released, and the story getting uncovered, and the participation as a fandom that people experience of unpacking what happened, what is the story, what is the mystery and the intrigue, absolutely enraptured me. As someone who loves deep diving into lore, I'd never experienced like that with something like that with horror. So from Five Nights 1 onwards, I was a fan, and one of my favorite earliest memories is I I played Five Nights 1, couldn't really get into it, but I loved watching people play it. And then Five Nights 2 came around, and I remember gathering my roommates in college around the living room in the apartment that we lived in Chicago, Illinois, being like, guys, we're going to take turns playing this. And like, I was holding them hostage for like 15 minutes before people were like, okay, Aaron died, you jump in now, and that was like, I love that experience because there's a communal aspect to Five Nights, both that you can have couch co-op a little bit, right, taking turns, but then also just the community. So that's where it all kind of started. And I've never fallen off of Five Nights since Genesis, which for a game that's been around, an IP that's been around for like 10 years, that's actually pretty impressive. I've never like grown out of it, or like, when a new game comes out, I'm like, let's see what kind of lore expansion has happened here, what new characters have been made.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, it's got one of the things that's really interesting about the lore is from the perspective of like horror storytelling, it has a little bit for everybody. There's a little bit of body horror. There's a little bit of the, supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of science fiction. Like it has a little bit of everything to kind of tug at the heartstrings of like the core horror fan. I mean, Dave and I are long time horror fans. I mean,
for sure.
Like
if you were to tell me here, let me I have like a really quick thing too, because the books go even deeper too. So like Eric, what is one of your favorite horror movies?
Oh my god.
It's a hard one, I know. Dave, you're next.
Just off the top of my head. I'll go John Carpenter's The Fog. Yeah.
The Fog. Okay, so Twisted Ones. That is going to be my recommendation to you. I believe there's a graphic novel adaptation. I can't remember, but Twisted Ones. That's where you really start getting into the. Five Nights doesn't. It touches on the Eldritch a little bit, but like Twisted Ones is really cool because you get like full monster. Let's even call it body horrorness. It's not as Lovecraftian as The Fog gets, right? But like, it touches on that. Dave, what's your like favorite or one of your favorites?
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. Oh my god. I think like kind of everything a little bit Dawn of the Dead, but like I would even say this is like a weird one, but I think that Silver Eyes. So there's a book called Silver Eyes, the first novel adaptation. You get a little bit of the eeriness that Dawn of the Dead kind of touches on, and then also, I mean, I think as a whole, Five Nights, like the greats, Romero, but like Fallout with like Joshua Sawyer's criticism of like capitalism and stuff like that. Really, half of Five Nights at Freddy's is also like, hey, the working conditions in this location are rough. Isn't that funny? Right? Like, it's like, that's like so many of these zombie movies are like consumerism, stuff like that. So highly recommend if you want to read. That's my favorite book in the series, but that's what I love about this IP, as you mentioned, Eric. Like, there is something for everyone, and I think as it's grown, it's become this like, hey, if you love underwater horror stuff, like there's a book, or like there's like a part of a level in one of the games that kind of like harkens back to this classic, like a Loch Ness monster-y thing, if you want to go back into old folklore. So totally agree. I think that's one of the beauties of this brand, is that it starts becoming horror incarnate rather than just one thing.
Yeah, and there's just so many different subgenres that it's great that it can kind of touch upon all of them. So let's get into the line. Jazwares has 4 different collectible types at the onset of the line coming out. Talk us through this initial offering.
Yeah, so we just launched full chain at many retail stores. For a while, we were kind of just a specialty stores. We set a little bit at Target in July, and people have been super excited about like those initial releases. Now we have our kind of full first go at the line at retail right now across the US, starting to show up in stores internationally. So the 4 tenets of our first release wave, let's call it, the fall 25, release, whatever. Our mainline figures, what we're calling our World of figures. So that is these articulated figures. I'll put them in front of me. Articulated figures, fully articulated, right? The toy animatronics are in the first wave. And then, one of the cool things being that they are action figures, right? They have a feature, the jump scare feature, that is in every one of them. A little bit less with Mangle, but Mangle specifically is a take apart, put back together experience character. So there's a feature to it. They're action figures, but the reason why they're called World of is that they're in scale with each other. Obviously, with One Wave, it's a little hard to tell, but as we expand on more, I think people are going to understand, like, oh, that's why we're calling it World of. Since we are post San Diego Comic-Con, I can mention, we're doing set packs. We're doing like environment set packs. The first wave we announced at Comic-Con this year being the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 office. So like characters are in scale to how they look in the games. Smaller, bigger animatronics we'll see in the future, stuff like that. So those are like $10 figures, action figures. Going into the next thing, we have the Endo series. So that's the collector figures. The Endo series, I oftentimes that's my baby. Because when we were pitching for the IP, I was like one of the lead people on that pitch. And I was like, I want to do something that no one's ever done before that feels inherently, to use the Jeremy Padawer-ism, toyetic. And he has many, right? But toyetic is just one of the best things around in the industry to describe, like, is this truly natural as a toy? So the Endo series, which are collector figures, right? They're the ones that are a little bit higher detail, I would say, than World of. They have different articulation. I mean, one of the big things that like our World of figures can have neck articulation because of the mechanism. These don't have mechanisms. So like, yes, they have full articulation on the neck, full articulation everywhere because they're the endoskeletons that come that are in the inside of a lot of these animatronic characters. And then for me, it was like, what can we do that is inherently toyetic? Well, endos and then the costume pieces for the characters. That way we can have things like natural recessing that exists. Normally you would have to do like scribe lines if you want to save money, or like recesses in the tool. That's just a natural thing. And then you can also have like these moments of magic of like when you're kind of constructing these figures or deconstructing these figures. And I'm going to open up Bonnie's face a little bit here. I forget that because Bonnie's ears clamp on there, it actually stays. There we go. But you have these like cool little moments of magic of just like you have the skeleton, and then once you put it on, you've got this like Vader getting his helmet assembled situation where it's like, oh, that's Bonnie. Customizability, stuff like that. So it is a collectible figure. It's also kind of a construction figure in a way, right? There's a bit of construction to it. You can mix and match parts, etc. But this is a $25. You get one endo skeleton and then two costume variants. So in the case of our first wave, you've got the classic animatronics that show up in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and then the withered versions that show up in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The third part of our line, going into the world of plush, our 8-inch plush, or really our mainline plush, because we have a 20-inch one as well. These are the ones that are like stylized to look like how the plush look in the games, in the prize corner. We do change a little bit of the stylization from some previous partners, as well as like they're kind of, in some of the games, they have more bulging eyes. We kind of stick the eyes more embroidered into, frankly, amplify the cuteness factor, differentiate from what's been done before, and it allowed us to do glow-in-the-dark eyes, which I know fans have been really digging. So all of our products on the line right now have glow-in-the-dark eyes, but the plush, you can like really, really see it. 8-inch, and then we just released a 20-inch plush that like people are going crazy over at Target, which has been so awesome because I don't know if, listen, like you guys, I know you're horror fans and like you guys know everything toy. Horror and toy, especially for kids, and mind you, this is an all ages IP, some retailers get a little nervous about it. So it's been lovely to see that, like, hey, if you put a plush, and mind you, it's not creepy, it's very cute, of a horror character at Target, in the toy aisle, in the video game aisle, wherever, people are going to show up. So it's been really lovely to see that. And then the fourth part of our line are mini plush. So they're the stylized plush that show up we have blind boxes and the non-blind versions. So they're completely organic stylizations. Actually, all of our plush have been designed by one incredible designer who I spent many years working with on the Pokemon brand. She is tremendously talented. Her name is Melissa Nawas. She was the designer for our 8-inch plush, as well as the complete stylization of the mini plush. So it's, I don't know, kind of like chibi, like very condensed versions of characters. We have a lot more stuff cooking, but for plush, it's really cool that we can kind of point to all of our plush designs. Like there's the one designer who's really left her mark of authorship over such a lovely aesthetic that blends in the fidelity of referencing the game while also kind of making her own stylistic choices. And I think fans have really resonated with what we've done plush-wise.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that you guys over at Jazwares are
I was gonna
very
say,
known for.
Very much crushes plush. Like they're, they're the kind of top flight, as it were. Yeah.
Plus, it lends itself really well again to the property because in game there are plush items that you see, and I mean, if you go to any of the restaurants that have that kind of experience, right? Like those characters are readily available as plushes.
Yeah.
So like it all kind of it's a very like
it's on brand, right?
Yeah. Or it can be won via tickets or a claw.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. So something that kind of runs the gamut through all of these pieces, Aaron, is the concept of value. And you guys are keeping the prices down on these, making them kind of very approachable. For outside of the obvious reasons of like, hey, things that are cheaper or cheaper is the wrong word. Things that are of a certain price are more affordable, right? Generally, what's something like what's maintaining such a low price point mean for this kind of line?
So, I feel very passionate about this. I'm passionate about a lot of things, but and thankfully, working on Five Nights has allowed a lot of passions to kind of cross over. I know that saving money is on the top of mind for most people, I would wager. Things fluctuate, times change, stuff like that. But I think one thing that I think is incredibly important, and I might non sequitur in a little bit, just to kind of really drive the point home as to why it's important to me, is it is important that if you have a favorite character in a IP, no matter what it is, Five Nights at Freddy's, Pokemon, Digimon, WWE, favorite wrestler, favorite anything, it is very important to me if I am a part of a team that is making decisions, and it's important to a lot of members of my team, that your favorite character is available to you to have as a plush, to have as a figure, because I firmly believe that every character in a beloved IP like Five Nights at Freddy's has at least one person in the world who says, that is my favorite character. And if that person cannot afford their favorite character to have on their shelf or in their collection or on their bed, to me, I find that to be something that needs to be amended. I think that no one should ever have their favorite characters gated out because they can't afford it. And even more importantly, especially for a brand like this where, yes, of course, adults love it. Kids like it too. Allowance money purchases. That is what I oftentimes say, is that I want to make a line that a kid of any age, an adult kid or a kid can save up their allowance, or it doesn't break the bank for them, so they can have their favorite character as a part of their collection. We do, we are working on some stuff that's like higher price point, like super collector, of course, but we're never going to make a character where it's like, hey, so like, classic Freddy's only showing up as the $3,000 life size. We're not working on that right now. We're not. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never want to gate someone out when it comes to that. The non sequitur I was going to mention is I was doing an event where I was a speaker, and a very passionate adult collector was talking. Oh God, it gets me like angry and a little upset thinking about it even. So he was talking about how he collects a lot of these like older brands, let's call it, right? Like not older, classic golden age brands, let's call it. G.I. Joe, Transformers. I mean, we're getting Power Rangers is getting there right now. These are like classic action figures, Masters of the Universe, right? Mm-hmm. So he was talking about how his purchasing power is stronger than that of a child's. Specifically, that when something limited gets released, he knows that he can buy that faster than a kid can. And I didn't really know how to contribute to the conversation after that, because and mind you, this is not someone who works in the toy industry.
Yeah.
I couldn't fathom feeling satisfaction out of being able to verbalize, well, I can buy something faster than a kid can, and that a kid's going to be let out. Like, so it's very important to me. And it's one of the reasons why we try to make sure that our products aren't just at one location. They're at a lot of different locations. Exclusives happen, but like widely available exclusives, right?
Yeah.
I never want to be someone who says, hey, that favorite character of yours, we only made 1,000 of just that character. Sorry, you're out of luck, because a bunch of people who have disposable income could spend that money immediately, and you had to maybe wait for payday, or maybe you had to save up your allowance. Personally, like, my philosophy is let everyone be able to participate and celebrate, because that's what the fandom's all about. That's what being excited about something like Five Nights at Freddy's is all about.
Awesome.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Because we've all been there at some point in our lives, or still are, or anything along those lines. Like, we've saved change to kind of go up to the store.
And we say it all the time, like, regardless of what key character it is, whether it's Freddy, whether it's, Spider-Man, Batman, whoever, right? That Freddy figure is going to be somebody's first Freddy figure.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be the first figure that they buy. Like, the likelihood of that being the thing, right? So making it something that is approachable and something that's readily available not only is important to the success of your line, right? Like the success of your ongoing relationship with the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, but also like the continuation of the thing that we love, which is collecting, right? If we're not fostering the availability of these things for the next generation to enjoy them, we're going to be the last generation that enjoys it.
Right.
And those main characters always have to be around. Like, the game is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
If Freddy's not on the shelves, like, how long is somebody going to be willing to wait around for, one of the main 4 characters, or one of the main 5 characters? There's always got to be one of them in a series.
And no blinking you miss it, right? Like, and mind you, like, these things do happen, right? Sellouts happen within, hours for a lot of big passionate fan bases, the products that come out for them. But like, that doesn't mean that it's like, well, we only did this, bye, sorry, you're out of luck. I'm going to try to make sure within my power that doesn't happen. And as far as what I can see for the future, like, if there's something that someone can't get a hold of, like, it'll come back in a different way. Maybe it's not. What I can always promise is, like, listen, it might not have the sticker on the forehead or the embroidery on the butt or whatever it is, but that character, because that's what's important to me, is like, that character, don't worry, it'll come back in some way, shape, or form.
So Jazwares isn't the first company to tackle Freddy and Company in toy form. Was there anything you learned from previous toys that helped you inform any decisions that you made with the World of and Endo series, respectively?
Ooh, yeah. So I want to definitely give my respect to Funko, U2, Sanshi, Good Smile, definitely Hex. Daco and his team they make such good work. And again, respect to all of them. I'm a big fan of what Hex does, because I think it's so unique. But there's a really wide ecosystem for FNAF products. I think that for us, learnings wise, seeing what we can do within the advent of our line, character completion is like a really big one, especially as when the last major partner got the Five Nights license, Five Nights was not as much of a household name as it is now, right? It was way harder, I think, for them to get like substantial retail space and get that reliable retail buy-in, because horror and toy, that is not a common thing. So I think time has passed where now everybody knows what Five Nights is, right? So hopefully that's not really the case with us in the future. Like, it's been great so far. It's a movie year. I think, like, as the line continues to perform, we should continue to get that great support. So with that said, like, if we do one character in a grouping, we try to complete that character collection immediately within the wave, or what I oftentimes say is like within the year. And I think that other companies haven't really had the luxury or really the ability to do that. So that was like one big one. I think that like displayability and playability being hand in hand for both the Endo series and the World of Figures was very important. To me, as it was super important for the entire team. I'll say this, like, this is a constructible figure. I'm shaking it pretty violently. Nothing is falling off. I'm bending things. I can put pieces apart and you know, put them back together and all that stuff. Nothing is falling apart. This is a collector figure that I can play with. That hasn't necessarily been the case for previous partners for one reason or not. And like, for me, it's like, if your play is meant to be played with, then it shouldn't just be falling apart. So that was one thing where I remember a very early call with my designers was like, hey, if we're going to do a collector figure that literally has pieces that clip on, they can't just like fly off. There were some other lines in the past that definitely have been known for, like, I'm not even talking about Five Nights, like other action figure lines where it's like, yeah, man, those figures look good. And then as soon as you articulate it, the shoulder falls off. So that was like priority number one when it comes to playability of what, like, hey, what can we do that's like different and new?
Well, speaking of the Endo series, I've got a brand new Endo of classic Freddy and withered Freddy, and I thought that this would be a fun opportunity to open it up while we have you and actually take a look at it, because I haven't gotten hands on with these yet.
Oh my goodness! Yay!
So I found this in Walmart in the new, like, I think it's the Bloody Disgusting horror,
like, with the PDQ that has the that was fun to see. I didn't know that they were going to do that. That's fun.
So I did see this, and I was like, I'm gonna grab it and save it for when we have you on.
I think the other cool thing too, having seen the movie now, like the fact that the designs are so similar, like they did a good job of sticking to the like standard game design, so that way you could say like, oh, this is the game, but it also is the movie.
The Jim Henson Company. I mean, and for those of you guys know, like, I'm a big old fan of Muppets in general. Like, I love me some Muppeteering. My first job in general was working for the puppeteer for Cookie Monster. So like, I have a massive historical love for puppeteering and Muppeteering. When I found out that they were like brought on board for the movie, I was like, those designs are going to be razor sharp, and they're like so lore accurate. Obviously, I think Scott Cawthon, the creator, like had so much input, and you can just see like love in every stitch and every little bit of felt and every bit of wire and plastic. I think none of our figures are technically the movie versions, right? But because they're so one-to-one, in many ways, not in every way, but in many ways, a lot of people are like, oh, it does feel like it's also like bringing the movie to life as well.
Yeah. So the endoskeleton alone, like, I'm just enjoying
how's that articulation, man?
The amount of stuff that's going on here. I mean, like, knees, hips. You got double barbell.
That torso,
a double barbell there.
Is pretty great.
Yeah, you got a sweet torso wiggle. I love the double barbell at the hips. That's not something that you see a lot in
the drop. Yeah, the drop down hips were. It really, not only was it fun to kind of be able to do that, but also and giving major credit to the two designers for the first wave of Endo series. You have John Rosella, who is a tremendously talented designer, and then Mauricio Martinez, who is, or Marcelo Martinez. Oh my God, I'm tired. Marcelo Martinez, Mark, who is actually was a big fan of our Halo line. And was a toy photographer, and he was like, hey, I want to be a designer at Jazwares. And this was like years ago. And I was like, yes, like, let me do whatever I can. And he crushed it with these. Like, he's done such a great job. But I think because of the passion, specifically around his time working on, he'd done some Halo stuff, mech suit things, right? Drop down hips are really great to be able to get good range of motion, right? And so for these, and I just picked up Freddy, and tore his head off. But for these, doing this allows like way more range. But also it's a fun little additional bit of articulation to have given it.
I also like, I'm noticing this is fun to put together, by the way. I'm noticing on the legs, which is actually a fun little thing, is there's, they key in.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Could you show like...
So there's little holes here. Oh, that side. So there's little holes, and they line up with the holes in the individual pieces.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that way they help you line them up
and actually
know that you're...
Here's a
I was going to ask if it did that, so thank you for showing that, Eric.
Here's a little tip for you kids at home, because not a lot of people know this. I'm going to put a light on this and see if hopefully it shows up. Here, I'm going to actually turn. This is an AIC exclusive right here, because I have not seen this be widely broadcast by the fan base. But I don't know if you guys notice, there is an R. And that stands for right, and there's an L, and that stands for left. And we have marked every piece to be correlated to the just because I know it can get a little tricky, especially when it's like, is this the withered one? Is this so? Little pro tip: we have coordinated all of the pieces that are right and left. I don't think we've done it for the faces because there's only one head for these guys.
See, yep, you can see it in there too.
Yep.
Yeah, the R is in there. That's awesome. Yeah, right now I'm using just the fact that it stayed organized in the tray.
Yeah.
As I'm pulling it apart.
For the non-Freddy fanatics, right? For those who just maybe want to
as someone
buy
who occasionally has this.
Right. You're like, is this one? Is this?
Mm-hmm.
No, but this is
has been caught in public doing that, and I've been like, sorry, like sometimes I just have to.
No shame.
And then the feet just pop off.
Oh,
the one thing that I know that people have had a bit of a hard time with, and we're looking for maybe ways to kind of modify things, is I know it is a bit hard to get some of the feet on sometimes. It's easier for some. And we are working on maybe doing a little bit of tooling refinement there. That's also just to make sure that it doesn't fall off. That's like because when you have a foot that swivels like this, and has like heel articulation. It's not a lot, but it does have heel articulation. We want to make sure that it didn't just kind of fall off. So it was kind of finding the good golden middle path, between like, is it loose enough, but is it not so loose that it's like falling out?
So, so far so good. I haven't had any issues with the feet though. Everything went right on, easy peasy. But yeah, and just to talk a little bit more about these keyed in pieces, they are different shapes, so like you can't mess it up. You can see like on the arm, there's like on one side there's like a vertical line, and then on the other side there's more of a
or square,
square. Yeah. So not only which side is which, but also which.
But that they also peg in, which is cool.
Yeah. Which back and which front you're working with.
Do you guys remember when we launched Halo? Lovely good friend of mine, and I don't know if you guys have interacted with him, DM Galloway, the stop motion animator. We did stop motion for Halo. So the stop motion animators have been coming out for these, which like for me, I got a big passion for animation, but there was a animator.
Oh my God, that one that you posted on X.
Yeah.
Holy
so
crap.
So not only that here, and I'll just show it. So Ender Trap, who's like this great animator on YouTube, did full animation. So these are action figures, and they're articulating great. But the stuff here, actually, I'll get closer. He did a transition between this and our Vault exclusive. Look at this. Ready? Oh my God! Oh, I'll play it again.
Yeah, play it again.
Check out the way that he did a transition between Withered Freddy and Phantom Freddy, Shadow Freddy. Excuse me.
Wow. So
oh my God, so cool! And so I love that stop motion animators are actually having a really easy time animating these. And I was like, all according to plan, all according. That's what I wanted.
So as I finished putting together this,
just seeing that exoskeleton or that endoskeleton is just like, it's pretty complex for
and for $25
for
you
$25
get two characters, right? Yeah.
So I know we'll get into some more questions from the community a little bit later, but one of the things that did come up is, are there plans for like an endoskeleton 2.0?
Ooh, Endo 2 with the ears on the side.
Yeah.
Yes. So we did announce Wave 2 is coming in 2026, in spring of 2026 at San Diego Comic-Con this year. The only image that we showed was a kind of blurry-ish image of Endo 2. I love Endo 2. Endo 2 has like exposed ribs. It's a little more animal featured because it has these ears on the side. These are the endoskeletons that within lore are the ones that the toy animatronics are in. Depending on who you ask, sometimes the Wizards are, but for many reasons, decisions were made to have the Endo ones for our Endo series. But yes, so Endo 2 is going to be coming out in early next year. It is so cool. It is a phenomenal Endo piece. I think that the interplay between Endo 1 and Endo 2, I just love them because they've kind of got the charisma of like a cartoon skeleton, right? Where they're just fun and like goofy looking guys. Endo 2 looks amazing. And I really think that people are going to be very pleased with the characters that come with Endo 2. Some will be surprises, definitely will be surprises, and potentially even some out there choices. And then there's going to be some character choices that people will be like, yeah, of course, duh, it's Endo 2.
So I just want to show this part off here. So the jaw, the way that it ports in, I actually didn't realize that the little mouth on the inside opened. Once you port the jaw on, it actually lets you open the inner jaw, the skeleton's jaw as well. I'm almost done.
I think that's one of the creepy things like about it is the two mouths.
Yeah, it's very alien-like.
Which, by the way, Mr. Coffin is a big Alien fan. I don't recall many of the like Rockafire and Chuck E. Cheese old school animatronics having a recessed jaw. I think that's an homage. I think that's a bit of an homage to the Alien series, which I am so happy that we got to have the double articulation within the mouth, because that's, it's not something that we have with the toys. Just because it's the nature of the action figure, so we were able to kind of reach that level of detail with the $25 figures.
This thing,
yeah, that looks incredible.
This is so cool, Aaron. Oh my god.
Yeah, team did an amazing job.
I love the way the eyes look,
and it moves. So it moves like. So one of the things that I like to call out about certain action figures are, like, great, like you can move a superhero action figure, you can put them in superhero poses, like they move the way that you'd expect them to. And then there's action figures that like have almost like too much going on. It's like, that character would never be able to do that.
I can't remember when Superman got the owl powers where he could go full 360 on his head.
Like, this moves like an animatronic would. Like, it has that kind of like stiff jointed, like,
well, the only limit is what the costume pieces present, because the endoskeleton is like, you want full crazy articulation, like nothing's limiting the skeleton,
yeah. But once you put the like even like the hit points, right? So like, you saw before how we were articulating the waist like all the way, but now that the costume is on, the costume blocks it in the parts where a costume would block it.
Right.
He moves like a mascot. Aaron, this is
it's like it's the difference between the Terminator and the skeleton endoskeleton.
Yeah, it's just like what physical limits exist as opposed to like the toy limits, which, listen, that happens. It will happen. It happens for every toy line. It was just really cool to be able to be like, there's a reason why we're limited, as opposed to like, it's not a manufacturing thing. It's like, no, it's like a real world thing.
Yeah, as it should be.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Well, this is fantastic.
I'm so happy.
The smile on my face is real right now.
Yeah, dude, when you were smiling, like, putting that face on, I was like, oh, Eric's liking this. This is great. I was a little like, oh god, I hope it's all good.
No, it's just one of those things where like I love toys. That's why we're here, right? But like, getting to kind of experience something for the first time is is really important even as an adult, because like it reminds me, stuff like this reminds me of like why I started playing with toys in the first place, was just like the way that something feels, the way that it looks, the way that it moves, the the feel it has in your hand. Like this has like a cool feel to it. Yeah, it's a really good execution. It stands really well. I can't wait to shoot this.
Oh man, you gotta send me
wait to
whatever
shoot
you
it.
make. That's I'm stoked. That's awesome. Thank you, and I'm so glad that you were able to. I think it's fun that it's like you were able to just put it together, and like that was 5-ish minutes or so, and like obviously we were having a conversation, but like I didn't want it to be too hard for anyone, and frankly, I should not even say like I didn't want it to be too hard. Like our designers were so. John and Mark and Tyrone Keys also oversaw the development of that first wave. They were so considerate to the builder, let's call it, or to the fan, like that this is not hard. It's very easy to do it. It's intuitive. And especially, I don't want to give people IKEA stuff. Be like, put it together. Here you go. Right. Like
it's very intuitive. It's very intuitive.
Here's an Allen wrench.
Yeah, right. That's right. Do you have a screwdriver or? But no, really, like the designers did an amazing job being considerate to those who are going to put these guys together.
So both the Endo and World of Figures clearly focus on play. There's play elements to both of these, either in the action features of the World of, or like the buildability, which everyone just saw. Are there plans for a more kind of detail focused, like adult collector addition to this world you're creating?
Yeah. So in the very early days, because I hyperfixate on my job because I love my job, and I love especially knowing that the fan base cares so much. Like there's literally no greater incentive to me as an individual than like knowing like, okay, like what decisions are made as a team, whether they're my decisions, the decisions of the company, the decisions of the team, like everything has an echo, right? Like a resonance to it. So really early on, I mapped out a very, very big plan for this line. This is like a little over a year ago. And things have, the plan has changed, of course. Plans always change in toy, especially as like times change and certain expectations change. But I would say that the vision that I have and the vision that my team has is like, it's like 20% on display in what we have on offer this year. So what we have out is like 20%. And when I say that, I don't mean characters. I mean like literally types of product. So there is a lot more coming. I really, really believe in Five Nights. We really, really believe in Five Nights. So I've gotten lots of DMs and I've seen lots of comments that like fans have been asking for that like higher end collector figure that you would see from like Jada or NECA or Figuarts, right? And the only thing I can really confirm and share is you haven't even seen half of what we're cooking for the future. And B, I'll do my tried and true. You gotta stay tuned. But like we see it, like I absolutely have been seeing it, and know that there is big plans in the future. That is the most detail I can give at this juncture, I think.
All right.
Although just seeing how those endos move, like that's pretty collector friendly.
Yeah.
Right out the gate.
Definitely. And I'm just trying to see if I have something else that I can grab just to kind of show you guys, for people that haven't had these in hand yet, just scale. I mean, here it is next to, like a Marvel Legends figure.
Okay.
So it's, they are a good size. Like it is like collector size. Granted, something, an animatronic would be like taller than an adult.
Yeah, because Peter's pretty short. So listen, like if we were gonna do something that's like collector, right? And really it's a new wave of collector. I think that's important, is that a lot of people are like looking at, like, just because I love NECA so much, that like NECA,
something else from like a video game universe, you could see that just in terms of the scale, like it does. If you had, I'll put it this way, if you had, which I do in this little corner of my display here, just a video game corner where I have characters from video games, this will fit in
Although you know what, like I'm just thinking too, theme park, anything.
Yeah.
The animatronics aren't that much bigger.
No, they don't tower over you.
In the movie, even in the movie, yeah.
The only big, I mean, there's like characters like DJ Music Man and Security Breach is like 12 feet tall, but the only animatronic that is like really, really big are a lot of the ones from the sister location game. There's a character called Circus Baby who's quite like, she's like large. She kind of, because she's got like pigtails and stuff like that, so she's pretty big. And then there's oh my god, an amazing amalgamation character, not to be confused with the character called Amalgamation, called Ennard. And Ennard is made up like of a bunch of different endoskeletons, like body horror together.
Yeah.
But have you guys seen Ennard? You guys would love Ennard's character.
I would love to shout out the person that I watched. I watched a 1 hour YouTube video that was like a walkthrough of the entire lore. And some of the things that they were showing in that video completely blew my mind. And that character
Ennard
was one
sick.
of them.
Ennard's sick, and Ennard is like tall and like a bit lanky, but like by and large, because most of the animatronics, especially for if you get to like the older models, the spring lock models, there's supposed to be people inside, right? Like
yes.
the Henry, Emily, and William Afton were supposed to be able to like jump inside of these costumes. So like it makes sense that they're like people plus, right? They're supposed to be like 6'5", I think. I want to say is like Freddy's height.
Yeah. Spoiler alert! If you watch the movie, you can see
some spring lock situations.
You can see Matthew Lillard get inside one of them.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm like I said, I'm blown away, but I'm also really excited to see what that other 80% is.
Get ready. A lot of it. Spring 2026 is a big year for the brand, and like as more stuff comes out too with like new games and new additions to the IP, like I'm so excited that we're able to kind of like we're in such a good time for Five Nights. Like right now is so good because I think a lot of people weren't so sure about the movie before it came out. Meanwhile, like we were like pitching for the IP when the movie was when it was about to come out, and I had to tell a bunch of people, just you wait. And then it made 300 million at the box office, and I genuinely had to be like, okay, I actually didn't think it was going to be this big. Like this is I thought it was going to be like 150. This is big.
Yeah. Well,
it was one of those ones where I was like, "There's no way this doesn't take off." Like,
this is going to be a big, and the movie coming out this year, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited.
I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm also looking forward to our big reveal. But before we get to
that get ready. It's huge.
We do have some Q&A to get through. Like I mentioned at the top, we had a ton of questions submitted, and we've already been talking for an hour. So let's bang through some of these. Dave, do you want to take the first one here?
Yes, because I've been practicing this name in my head for the past 15 to 20 minutes. I'm already on my third pronunciation, but I think this is right. At Pandy Insta, I almost called you Pandanista, but
is that like a Clash album?
I thought it was just somebody who's like a fashionista, but for pandas.
Okay, fair. Okay, all right. What's Pandanista's?
Pandy Insta.
Yeah, Pandy Insta.
Asks, are there any characters from Five Nights at Freddy's that are off limits?
Okay. It's a hard question to answer. I do firmly believe that, as I said, every character, there's at least one person out there that's their favorite. For the sake of giving an answer, there is an animatronic. There's an animatronic called Suicide Bot that shows up in the books. I think, I'm not gonna say never. I think there is a low chance that we make an action figure of Suicide Bot, though technically it wouldn't be hard to kit bash because Suicide Bot effectively looks like Endo 2 with a knife. So for the suicide bot heads out there, please don't dismay. Endo 2 might be a kit bash away from your favorite child murdering. Suicide bot is a rough character, so that it's very cool in the book. It's really cool in the book what the lore of it, but yeah, probably no suicide bot.
Hey, listen, that's what if you're worried about retail picking it up, there's always Jazwares Vault.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about keeping retail partners happy with that one. Fair enough though. All right, next one. So this is one of the two questions in our Q&A that does not have to do with Five Nights at Freddy's. This is this is an Aaron question.
Oh, okay.
Friend of the pod, Toy Farce asks, will you ever make it to Fort Worth, Texas?
Oh boy. Oh, finally. Hey, finally a real question, huh? I'm gonna have to give some background on this one for those who do not know. If you follow me on social media, specifically either Twitter or aka X the Everything app, or Instagram, I do. There's a good amount of recurring bits that I've done for many years. I used to do a lot of just comedy, and I am for a lack of better words, historically I've been a shit poster majority of my adult life. I'm a goofy dude. Take everything I say with a grain of salt unless I seem really serious about it. One of the main bits is I have, and by the way, it's not a bit, by the way, this is very serious. So take this with no grains of salt. I've been trying to get to beautiful Fort Worth, Texas for like 4 years now. I have tried flying there multiple times. I've tried taking the train. I've tried taking buses, taking cars, walking there, trying to go there in my dreams. At every turn, I end up getting rerouted through one way or another. Sometimes I show up in Korea. Sometimes I show up in Italy. Sometimes I show up repeatedly at San Diego Comic-Con. Honestly, it's a nightmare. All I want to do is see the golden shores and long waving grass of Fort Worth, beautiful Fort Worth, Texas. The answer, Toy Farce, is I don't know, but one day I will reach heaven on earth, beautiful Fort Worth, Texas. Thank you. That's a real question that I'm so happy to answer.
That was a Hot Ones level question.
Yeah,
doing that Sean Evans research.
I'm gonna add one level to this question, and it's not a question. We're just gonna move on after I say this. But okay. the reason why you haven't gotten there yet, I'm pretty sure I know why.
Move on.
His name is Mr. Peanut.
Don't see. That's another. Then that's not a bit. I hate that. Yeah, we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Dave, take the next one.
Here's another one I almost said incorrectly. That random Nam 3 asks, how will future waves work? And are you going to go in game order or just figure it out as you go?
Just feel it out. To answer the question. So yeah, the first two waves generally for most, like if we're going to tentpole the line, 3 of the 4 next waves, like 8-inch plush, Endo series, and World of Core figures have been announced. Wave 2 at Comic-Con. So we announced those. They are the characters from, if it's not Five Nights 2, it's Five Nights 1. If not Five Nights 1, it's Five Nights 2. And that's across a few mediums. To not reveal anything too much, we're going to be really shaking things up after Wave 2. And really, I don't even have to say after Wave 2. I would actually say starting in like spring 2026. Spring 26 is going to have like a lot of surprises. We're going to be jumping around a bit. Don't get used to like chronological order. With that said, I've said this on many interviews before, and I absolutely stand by it. Like, I have gauged out our current contract. If everything goes according to plan, we should have all of the main cast of characters completed in one way, shape, or form, whether it's Endo series or World of or both, by end of contract. So look at the entirety of the franchise. There may be some exceptions, and there may be like out of my hands, out of my team's hands. We obviously want to make sure we have great partnership with Stryker Entertainment and Scott, whatever they want. But just so everyone knows, like, there is going to be hopping around. But like, for instance, if we end up doing like Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the Nightmare animatronics in World of, and it's like, happens before FNAF 3. Like, please don't think that we're never going to do the Phantom animatronics, because like we take the core series very seriously. We want to make sure we have good representation across the entire history.
Awesome. At Carlos Revallo asks, is there any update on Five Nights at Freddy's roleplay items and or dog toys?
Oh, so roleplay wise, I think that trickles more into costume, which is a little bit tricky because we don't have the costume license. Another company does. We're looking at potential exploration on roleplay opportunities that like are within our contract. So there's a little stay tuned. Dog toys. I mean, I don't really know. I every once in a while I do consult with the Jazwares pets team. I did consult on like the Pokemon line. I'll talk and I'll see if there's any sort of, update I can give or that I can feel comfortable giving, given like, clearance. But as far as I know, either it's not within our contract when it comes to the role play stuff, or I am not privy just because I'm mostly oversee, the mainline business at Jazwares.
I think that's the first time anyone has ever asked about dog toys on the show.
Hey, so, dog toys.
Sure.
There's
some cool stuff in dog toys.
Yeah.
Friend of the pod at Nostalgic Adam asks, Jumbo Golden Freddy plush when?
Adam can text me. He has my number. Adam was one of the first people I told when I got engaged. Well, Adam, I will use this platform to say that you have been spoiled. No, Adam's been like one of the greatest champions of this line, and his partnership, especially at Comic-Con, was like it was so exciting. I love that man, genuinely. He's truly one of my best friends.
Yeah,
he's such a good guy. And his content's so good. Like, he makes such good videos. I digress. Jumbo Golden Freddy plush one. Who knows? Stay tuned. We have been so excited and so happy with how people have loved the classic Freddy. So like, listen, what I can confirm is you and me and everyone would be shocked if we didn't do another 20-inch Five Nights at Freddy's plush. So stay tuned.
Yeah. And also just shouts to Adam for helping spread the news that you were coming on and help us collect some of these questions. So awesome member of the community, and we're very, very fortunate to call him a friend. So
very much so.
Thanks for helping, Adam. Next one comes from Max Art 135. When will we see Five Nights at Freddy's products in Brazil? We also, just alongside with this question, we got separate questions about availability in the UK and Argentina.
Yeah. Okay. So I've tried really hard to like publicly post like where certain it gets a little hard when it comes to certain regions. Like Argentina is a really great example of like I full transparency, like I don't really know off the top of my head many of the biggest toy retailers in Argentina. I'll give a lightly blanket statement and then I'll get a little bit more specific here. So the question specifically was it was Brazil. Okay, yeah. So Brazil. So Latin America and South America have been really big focuses for me. I think that they've been incredibly underserved when it comes to most toy lines, and especially Five Nights at Freddy's historically. Especially like there's a huge passionate fan base in Mexico. There's a huge passionate fan base big time in Brazil. There's a big passionate fan base in Chile. I've gotten many DMs. So big bit of importance that I do want to communicate is like, not only has it been something that I've been hearing, like I personally am very invested in getting the product out there because sure, there's the businessman answer where it's like, we want growth, but like legitimately it's like there's fan bases that have not been able to get Five Nights product or like authentic Five Nights product. So in terms of Brazil, hard question to answer for when it comes to a specific month, because Brazil is historically a little bit harder to get into just in terms of distribution. What I can say is it is one of the number one priority regions for us. I do believe we are going to have placement before end of year. So I'm going to say for Brazil, December, if not spring of next year, just because sometimes in some regions it takes a little bit of longer time. Argentina. Again, can't really specify exactly location-wise, like what stores things are going to be showing up in. I do know that we are going to be distributing through a larger distribution company that covers a lot of South America. So hopefully we are able to, probably I'm going to wager it's a December, January timeframe for those. UK, way easier for me to answer. Game stores, Smith stores, Salisbury in some cases. When it comes to impulse purchases, we're already placing at a lot of places in the UK. That extends out towards the entirety of EMEA, let's call it. So you've got Germany, places like, let's see, Germany and France. Actually, I can show here, I was recently in Scotland, which, as it is still part of the United Kingdom, I can confirm that we do have product on shelf. We actually have our Squishmallows on shelf. I went to a specialty store in Edinburgh, one of my favorite cities in the whole world, where I saw our Five Nights at Freddy's Squishmallows for £12 each. So we are setting right now in the UK. I did see some stuff in German toy stores as well.
Awesome.
Another very good, dare I say, best friend of the pod at Creepy NJ asks, firstly, congrats on the engagement.
Thank you, Dave.
Second, toys are okay, I guess.
Thank you, Dave.
I tried to do my best, Dave, there. Because he does like a, I guess.
That was pretty good. It's pretty
Thank
good.
you. But is there any brand partner news in the works for my favorite food influencer? The world of fast dining and flavor dusted chips needs you.
All right. Well, first, before I answer this, also love Dave. Love Dave. I appeared on Dave's podcast, Daycare Dittos, a few times. And by the way, like, Dave can throw the engagement congratulations at me, and I will throw right back to Dave and Sarah for their baby's first birthday, because I did recently see that. So congratulations to them. They're just lovely, lovely people. Okay. And now I have to explain another bit of mine. If you follow me on Instagram, there are two highlights, one of which is beautiful Fort Worth, Texas. The other one is sponsored taste test, which is like, it's like a mini series that I've started, that I did, like, I want to say starting 2 years ago. It is delving into the realm. It's a little bit delving into the realm of like psychological horror, where I play a version of myself that is like taking on money to do these are very real products I'm reviewing. To answer that question, and just to give those who are not familiar a scope of what I've done a taste test of, I did the Mountain Dew gelato that was sold at Taco Bell. I did Coke flavored Oreos and Oreo flavored Coke. That was, I believe, the first one that kind of started delving more into like the psychological horror.
That one genuinely, like, I went back and watched those stories like multiple times when you did that.
And then the number one that is truly the grossest thing I've ever tasted in my entire life is my great friend Adam Carl, who's the sound designer and a total masochist, or sadist, excuse me, because no, he's a sadist. Sent me, and I did an episode on, just thinking about it makes me feel sick. Doritos, this is authentic and legitimate collaboration, Doritos tequila, which was truly one of the most foul things I've ever tasted. To answer the question, I am actually working on a big episode of that. I almost did the episode on Wendy's Baconator Cheez-Its. And then I found something more foul. So stay tuned on that one. Make sure you follow me on Instagram for total nonsense, an adult man doing sketch comedy and horror.
The Doritos tequila sounds like Malort mints. Like,
I wish it tasted like Malort. It tasted like medicine that had gone bad. Like,
I still wanted you to do the ketchup ice cream.
I've never tasted anything that was like wet ashtray before, but like Malort is it.
Yeah, no, for sure. By the way, they do Old Bay vodka was on my list, and then I really thought about it, and I was like, that's just 2 ingredients for a Bloody Mary. That's actually not like that's not that bad. Boy.
All right, our next one, Dave. I spared you from from trying to figure this one out.
I would have sung this like
I
Dragnet.
think it's da 4. We're gonna go with that. At da 4 asks, how many waves of figures will release a year?
Should be da 3, right? Whatever.
That's yeah.
Okay, so how many figure releases?
How many waves a year?
Oh wait. So the goal is at least 2. It depends. It's going to depend on the year. It's going to depend on the season. Just full transparency. So like, I would wager to say we're going to get no less than 2 a year. I would like for at least 3 to 4. We would like for at least 3 or 4, but like 2 a year minimum. And keep in mind, like for the Endo series, a lot of the new waves also include new Endos, right? So like Endo 2 being in wave 2. So yeah, speaking safely here, just to make sure I'm not confirming anything that maybe doesn't become true later, probably 2 minimum a year.
Right.
Okay, this is a fun one. At Crafty Squid's meme hellhole asks, if Springtrap comes to the Endo series, will it feature Afton's corpse inside?
Honestly, the question at everyone's on the top of everyone's mind, and I'm not joking. Like, people ask me that a good amount.
Yeah,
that's a stay tuned. What I will say very confidently is like Springtrap is an essential character for Five Nights at Freddy's. We are gonna absolutely do something for him. I can't reveal anything officially just because, again, like I want to make sure that I'm abiding by God, I really do. I do want to give more. No. I gotta abide by, the rules here. So that's a stay tuned.
Okay. Caden _Kennedy asks, for future Endo series releases, will characters be cross-compatible with older or other skeletons?
Yeah, so the answer is yes and no. Some will, some won't. A good example is like if we ever end up doing the Nightmare Endo, right, from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. So that endoskeleton is very unique. That endoskeleton's build is really different than that of like Endo 1. I can't really promise that like the classics are going to fit on the Nightmare Endo, but what I can say is that there is possible interplay between Endo suit pieces as far as like what we're planning. Listen, I want to be very clear, like there are physical limitations, right? Like at the end of the day, even if like an endoskeleton is supposed to fit a specific character, if the character has like spikes coming out of their nose and their ears, we have to make sure that we can physically make that and also make it safe. But there is some interplay between the two as far as what we've experimented with Endo 2. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely like, we're going to try, but for some, it's just a matter of like logistics and physical possibility.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you're at Eminem _666. But with the E's being 3s.
I think that's how I would have read that too.
Yeah.
So, Threem and Threem?
Yes. Do you think the Vault exclusive Shadow Freddy will be re-released in stores?
It's a great question, Threem and Threem. So not in stores for the US. Vault exclusives, as far as what I know, Vault exclusives are just going to be on Vault.com. That is for the US and for the UK. Mind you, I don't believe pre-order is up on the UK. I think we're going to be distributing in the UK when it is out at on the store page. For other regions, I have already kickstarted the conversations with regions, because please keep in mind, like, if this is like a French situation, like they wanted in France, like we need to bring that item to French retailers, and then French retailers need to take it. Like that's a big bit of importance. So like I always tell fans, like, and again, like I'm never someone who's like, go, get us sales and stuff like that. Like I'm legitimately saying, like, if you really want that product, and this is the same thing for like the Nightmare plush that we do for Hot Topic and Box Lunch in the United States, tell your local retailer that you really want them to support that specific product, because it lets us kind of get the product there easier, because they know, like, oh, people really want this. So we're having conversations about getting the vault items in non-vault distributed areas. But that's kind of it's a conversation that goes kind of beyond just something that I can answer, but I can say that like we are having conversations about making sure that folks that are not in vault distributed regions can get the vault products.
All right. And that does take us to the end of our Q&A. Everyone, thank you so much for submitting
so much. That was
so
fun.
many questions.
That was a lot.
Honestly, we had even more that
I think
we
that's a
could have
record,
asked, but like, yeah, I think that's the most we've ever had in a Q&A section. So, shouts to everybody for submitting them again. Thanks, to Adam and Aaron. Thank you too for sharing it and helping us collect some of these questions.
Of course. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Before we get to our big reveal, our big
kids,
Halloween...
get your masks ready.
Get your masks ready.
I was about to say, it's almost what's the time in it? It's almost 10 o'clock.
It's almost 6 a.m. That would actually, it's almost 12 a.m.
Before we do that though, some plugs. Where can collectors in the United States, where can they find their Five Nights at Freddy's products, and where can they keep up to date with you and everything going on with the line on social media?
You can find our Five Nights at Freddy's products at your favorite local retailer. We are currently at Target, at Walmart, at GameStop, at specialty stores such as GameStop, Hot Topic, Box Lunch. We will be showing up at grocery stores like Fred Meyer, and I think we're going to be at like Publix and Ralph's towards more of the holiday season. But you will be able to find us kind of a little bit everywhere. Obviously, we are on Amazon.com. We are on JazwaresVault.com if you want that exclusive Shadow Freddy Vault exclusive. Everywhere. Barnes and Noble. Everywhere where toys are sold, for the most part, you're going to find at least one or two of our items. Your greatest bet, though, is going to be GameStop, Target, and Walmart from now until the end of the year, and frankly beyond that. We're getting some great support from retail, and that's all thanks to the amazing fan base for not just buying the stuff but actually enjoying it. And that's the reason why we do it, is for people to enjoy it. To find me, let's see. So I for work related stuff and the occasional bits, you can find me on Twitter, aka X the Everything app, at Aaron _Margolin, AARON_MARGOLIN. For bits and occasional work-related stuff, you can find me on Instagram, aka Instagram, at the man with the red mane, ThemanWithTheRedmane. Why did I make it so long? Mane like a beard. The man with the red mane.
Well,
and now that you've passed that quiz,
and I just wanted to shout one more time. If you are watching or listening to this as it airs new, the Halloween reset at Walmart, the horror section in the entertainment section of Walmart, has the Freddy 2-packs in it. So the endoskeleton, the endo series Freddy. So if it's still up for pre-order in a lot of places, but Walmart's got it. So head over to your local Walmart, the entertainment section, and take a look. It's there with all the other really cool horror stuff, right where it belongs, watching you. So with that out of the way, Aaron, it's time. It's time for the big Halloween reveal.
It's time, kids.
So the floor is yours, man. I'm gonna switch you over to full screen. Floor is yours for the big reveal.
I'm gonna turn my phone off just because I want to make sure that there's no. Want to make sure that there's no like prying ears here. This is gonna be a Adventures in Collecting exclusive. I'm gonna ditch my NDA at this point, guys. Like, I'm speaking full transparency here, like, because honestly, I'm so excited about this. We've been working on this for years, and I was told not to share it, but I'm gonna. And this honestly, this is like the biggest reveal of the entire line. So, very, very soon, we are going to be releasing a